Hello, everybody. Can you all see me? Can you all hear me? We've got quite the day. Finally get some time to work on the second character. Let me see who we got this evening. Let me apologize up front. Making it a little bit later than normal, but I had my own Father's Day things I needed to take care of today, so this is about the best I could do as far as having a long stream. Could have done a little earlier, but it would only be a very short stream. So I do apologize if it didn't work out for some, but I have been on this character on the work that I've been doing. I've been waiting to do exactly what we need to do today because there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen yet to get this one ready. All right? So who do we got? I don't know who all we got here today, but we had Antihero may have been here. Krisa may have been here. Zerg.
3 milliseconds.
Looks like Frank didn't make it. Yoshi, Raze, Beth, Dodo, Hack,
There I go again.
Quentin, Holy Chan, Dark Shotgun, Drusik, Manuel. How's everybody doing today? Gemma, thank you so much for the support again. You are fantastic. Thank you so much. And you asked the question, do we ever raid? Not anymore. We used to. Warframe had some raids. They weren't bad. They were very... it was a situation where Warframe's accessibility with, I would say, with open groups and not as much communication as like something that you would see in a typical Destiny raid, kind of was one of the things that made them more inaccessible for people. I don't know that we'll ever get them back. I know a lot of people have been... Oh, there he is, got himself. Good to see you. You looking at high-tech brawn? You like that? Yeah. Well, I'm doing the best I have with what I have. How's that? Turn the game sound up a little bit. I absolutely can for you. Done deal. Gemma, do me a favor, and I just turned it up. Let me know if that is acceptable for you. So what I did was I built my personal, where the heck is it? The personal quarters segment. This is the next phase. It'll lead us into, let's call it the Tenno's real journey, right?
Your habitation segment is complete, and the new room is ready. Orders cannot contain his excitement. Will you go there now,
Only chances
operator?
it's
Will
legit
you?
midnight where I am, and I have a test the next day. But lucky for me, I didn't see the next part. Only two. But is it like a later test tomorrow or something? I love that you're here with me. I don't want. Please, your test is most important. The Warframe will always be here. Oh, I mean, raid another streamer. I don't know. No, we've never really done that. It's not really. It's, you know, I'll tell you all something. Today, well, yesterday was kind of a bad day for the Warframe lore community, if you know. You could call into the relay? Really? Diego, hello. I don't know that we're going to see. This is like a really unfortunate thing too. I don't know how much we're going to see of new Stallard videos. And you know, we were actually fortunate enough. I think it was last stream or 2 streams ago. Korg the Mighty was here and joined us in stream. But I was checking on their channel, and I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for this new update to get back into it, but. Warframe lore people are falling off. Where are they all going? So let's go. It makes me sad. Wow. Looks like we got some rain outside. Okay, so things that you want to be keeping out your eyes on for this one, especially for people that haven't really done this over and over. You get to see some Lotus cheeks soon? A little bit, yeah. So, as I was going to say is here's what you want to be keeping your eye out for moving forward, because we're probably going to get into a couple different things. I can't remember exactly what I'm allowed to do in succession, but Apostasy here, where the Lotus kind of begins everything that's about to kind of go down within the origin system, if you will. But what I want you to think about, Wadija, I'm gonna have to look that one up then, Gemma, because we're gonna have to start banding together or something. I didn't realize that it's becoming epidemic. But so what I was going to say is keep in mind something I had never really thought about. But you know, the Void has provided the Orkin with so much, and it would make one assume that after Albrecht Entradi had made his way in and established the Void as an actual method by which certain things could occur, Void travel being one thing, but one of the things that we see in the data tablets that's very important is the idea of conceptual embodiment. Conceptual embodiment is the very reason why the Tales of Duviri were ever even created in the first place. They were specifically made so that children within the Void would make sure that they kept all of their emotions under control because of the potentiality of creating all kinds of stuff. Now, this comes from Orkin information. So Orcan scientists, Illyria, I would assume once all this new information was established, there would have been countless other Orcan scientists that would have joined in and started cataloging things. And Aston, hello. Do we know who was entirely controlling Chroma in the new Strange Quest Karkari? No. No, we don't. We have ideas. We have ideas. There's a couple theories. New information that's been kind of given to us allows for a couple different options. It allows for something in the way of something like what you would see on Spectre, on the solar rails, which is interesting. I actually just did one of the ones here, and they called it, during the actual fight, Lotus says, this is not what you think. It's a warframe being puppeted by infested flesh. I've never heard that line before. So I don't know if that was something that's been recently put into the solar rails, but it does suggest that along with the idea of what we've seen with Temple, with other scenarios, that the Warframe might not be the thing moving. It could be the infestation doing it. Oh, I apologize there, Drusik. Well, like you were onto it then. That's only, kind of. Comments in original specifically to Neptune. Okay. But regardless, I mean, it still means something. And it's, like I said, especially with what we've learned with the stuff with, Helminth, and how Helminth actually has like an affection for the which is weird. It's such a strange thing because like you go into, let's see if I can get, I don't think this one's open yet. Do I have any frames that I can open up this door with? Yes, no. Yes, no. Crap, I don't have any. I don't think I have any with. No, here's one. Great.
Saddle up.
Okay, let's see what we get here. This is what I don't understand. I think this Tenno might be a good one for it. But we'll see. You can get some really odd dialogue from the Helminth when you're talking about the Tenno in particular. And let's see. Or nothing. Huh. Maybe I haven't established this one enough. But essentially, the Helminth says in sometimes that it's like with you, but in other times, depending on your alignment, it calls you a demon and it's scared of you. So, hey Yoshi, hello. Well, I mean, Drusik, I'm going to do you another thing. Like it might actually give us the answer for the second dream. The one that we've all been asking for. Again, it's not definitive enough to just say, yes, this is it. That's the thing, because there's just not enough information. Do you like the green? We'll go with the green. I'm down with some greenish. All right, let's go in and see. Oh, but what I was going to say is...
What do you think? Not too shabby, yes? Ordis hopes the operator enjoys this new room.
One of the things that really kind of hit me as I was thinking about this quest, check this out. This is what I was going back to with conceptual embodiment. I think that might be how Ballas was able to inject a piece of Margulis into the Lotus. by using the void and his interpretation of what he would believe Margulis to be, calling it the lotus. And the reason why, I thought that is because I've always wondered, like, how is he doing this? How is he able to take the memories? How is he able to take the persona of Margulis and just plop it right into the lotus? That she even has, even though she's a sentient, she has very similar ideas as Margulis. She even understands Margulis' history. And I wondered if that was the key. And so as you watch this next, what we're going to be doing here, keep an eye, or just keep that in the back of your head. Looks like we're going to have to do some decorating, although I do like the purple in here. So in case anybody hadn't realized, that's the moon. But it is messed up. Now, this is a memory, or I shouldn't say that. This is a memory that's going to be emblazoned in the Tenno's mind. And we know this because it'll be recalled later. I love it.
Do something. Get me out of here.
Does this trail look familiar to anybody? Where have we seen this recently?
You know I can't.
Can't?
Mm-hmm. So there's been a couple instances. First of all, when you're in Duviri, this is the exact same thing, that you get, right? If you use the hand. Where else is this particular mechanic been shown with this line? What I'm trying to do is to show that there's something going on, okay? This is what I figured out. There's something going on here that we are not getting with the whole scenario. And here's why I keep saying that. Thomas, hello. On booth, hello. There are all these little glitch lines in scenarios. And even here, let's see if I can get it again, but listen to this. If we get to the point where the hands, where it stops, listen to this little, it's almost like a digital beeping. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm gonna need these later. I'll go get myself a couple some lunar pictures. It absolutely could, but it's just everywhere, and it has the same kind of vibe, but at the same time, it's not always okay, perfect example is here, there are different things that are occurring within the line. When you're in Duviri, you can hear the Lotus continually, or Margulis, it depends on your perspective, continually say words to you along the way. Whereas here, it's more of like a broken song. Yeah, it's good to see everybody here. I'm glad everybody was able to make it. Like I said, I do apologize that I had to make it a little bit later than normal, but, okay, hold on. All right, listen. Can you hear that? Dollar, hello? Let me try turning it off. Do you hear that little beeping?
I told you not to speak out. If you recant, maybe...
You lied to me, Ballas. You're no different than the rest of them.
There's something. DE is going to reveal this at some point, man. There's something messed up about what's going on. There's something. This plan. It's deep. It's deeper, and it's older than I think a lot of us understand. And there might be more people involved with it than I ever even anticipated in the first place. DE might be really onto something, or I might just be like adding to it here, right? I mean, that's possible. You didn't hear it? I think I heard something like that from Duviri. Yeah, that's... Wow, how convenient that is. Duviri has a very similar vibe in how it is like a... I don't know. It's just these things are made for the tenor, man. Turn up your sound right now if you didn't hear it last time. Hijao, hello. The Dawns Wukong, hello. You know, something else that I wanted to make mention of, too, as I was looking around. Actually, there's two things. Guys, I found something that, I found something in the lore that proves something that I've been saying for so long that I've been getting so much pushback on in the community. But no, I was right. Do you want to know what that thing was? First of all, before I forget, Albrecht Entradi did not take the Kuva. He didn't take the Kuva, one, ever, never. Two, and this is important, not only did he not take the Kuva, but the long arm thing is a product of continuity. Oh, on booth, okay. Again,
Please forgive me.
But a lot of people say when he says that, Leon, that he actually took the Kuva, that in the past. He's saying that he never took it again. There is a line in the Duviri, in the kinematic, where the drifter specifically says Entradi would not take the Kuva, ever. And he wasn't into the long arm thing either that came from it. Ascending, hello. So, you don't even know how many people I've had to fight with over the years over that comment, because they've constantly said, no. He took the Kuva, man. He took the Kuva. I'm like, no, he didn't. He did not take any Kuva. Never any Kuva. And, oh, no. So, yeah. How about that? I can actually pull that information now, because I was going through and looking through all the kinematic, and man, it was in there. I want to thank DE for throwing that little piece of dialogue in, because now I don't have to sit there and argue it ever again. Whee! Well, I mean, we know that Lloyd kind of remade his face.
We have gathered here today to carry out the sentencing of Archimedean Margulis. You face the Jade Light. Recant, and we will grant a merciful death.
My daughters, my sons, I want you to know my last thoughts are of you.
Gemma, the voice actor for Entradi, is named Stefan. Wait, let me get his thing's called. Hold on. That's his handle on Twitter. He is super cool, by the way. And yes, his voice is one of the best. It fits the character because of how Stefan Rudnicki can that's his name, his full name. It just has this it has this deepness and this weight to it that's like transcendental when you listen to it. And I don't know if maybe also how DE's capturing it and the way that they're putting little touches to his voice. I mean, I've never really heard him speak like straight up and so I can't really say that, it's his absolute voice, but man, the voice actors that DE gets for this game are fantastic. They are so good at what they do. And I love that DE doesn't go out and get like movie stars and stuff like that. Like people that I don't want Chris Hemsworth in my game. I don't want, leave it, they can have the movies. I want video game voice actors in my video games. Like I want people like that, or people that are a little bit less known. I don't want to feel like Thor or some movie character is the character that I'm playing, And that's, I love DE for doing this. So the other reason why I was saying is, and listen to Ballas's dialogue here. The other reason why I was saying that I'm thinking about this in conceptual embodiment thing is because of the way that he says, the way that they talk to each other here is so weird. Because he's calling her Margulis, but he's not calling her Margulis at the same time. Almost like, the only best way I can describe it is, do you guys, who in here saw, it's the voice actors from the video games they play. DE just is they throw W's all day for me. Maybe not everybody else, but I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to say is just keep an eye on this dialogue here because, like I said, if you've seen, who's seen the movie Inception? I don't want to ruin the ending for anybody if you haven't seen it or whatever, but it's the best way I can describe kind of what may be potentially occurring here. Yeah, that's what I like too. So, do you remember at the end, I'm not going to get into what happened or anything else, but do you remember when at the end, DiCaprio's character is speaking to, I can't remember what's the woman's name, Maul, right? And he tells her that, he's like, look, he goes, even you're not you. I couldn't possibly make you with all the complexities of what you my version is so less of what you actually are. I think I think I haven't spoiled anything, but at the same time, I'm making my point with Ballas and the potentiality here in that if this was his variation, and in the end, you know how like he always seems to be like kind of disappointed, especially at the end of the new war. Like I feel that same kind of vibe. I don't know. See what you interpret from this.
How long have we waited for this moment?
Forgive me.
For what? I am not who you think I am.
But of course you are. Imprisoned, just as she was.
Ballas.
I will not abandon you again, Margulis.
The glitches. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, poor Lotus. She just has to like sit there all day. That sucks. I just feel so bad for the Tenno at this particular scene. This is essentially in the moon where the Lotus was housed. Although it could be the void too. Just embedded within the moon
Tenno,
type thing.
your codex has been updated with a new quest.
The one thing.
What is happening? Is the Lotus... is she gone? Ordis will attempt to synthesize her mission directives until we can figure out where she is.
So bear in mind, the only thing that I would say in saying it's definitive of anything is that there's that section where we have to like kind of like go down that chute. I don't know if that is a physical chute or if that's like a, you know, like a void chute and it's shooting to some crazy area, because again, like we can actually like get to her from certain places later, like right here, like you can get, you know, later you can get to her through this. I'm just saying nothing's definitive. So, you know what time it is. I think the thing that everybody came here for today.
Ordis finds it odd that humans only get a few years to live, yet spend most of that time
Doing everything wrong.
learning how to live.
Yeah, I think if Wally was the devil, at this point in the game, well, I guess at this point in the game, the Tenno kind of know he's the devil. Like, let's be real. something not good. If you go through the information in the KIM, the Drifter is very against the Man in the Wall. There are very few positive dialogue options for the Drifter when speaking about the Man in the Wall, specifically for a couple reasons, right? I probably will. I'd end up floundering at some point here. But listen, so something angels are back. Actually, here, some people can actually know what's going on, because I know this is going to happen later. Boop, 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 boop. Just real quick. Let me put your comments in there. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm going to have to try to find those 4 pieces of the helmet. God, I'm terrible at that. Okay. Well, we do know that, if nothing else, that there is a very, very strong pull from the void at the moon specifically.
Howl all you want. It won't bring him back.
Let's see if they fix the visual bugs that are always in here.
Lure brings you strength, Umbra. But you cannot defy your creator. Even I make mistakes.
Oh, nice, they did.
Like you.
Okay. So many times, like, the Lotus looks so weird. I guess I shouldn't have said that. Well, everybody here knows.
Operator, are you all right? Your delta wave spiked for a moment.
Sir,
Ever since she
abandoned you
was taken, Ordis knows just what you need. A comforting memory from my data store.
Ordis, don't.
Forgive me. This is who you really are, a Tenno. More than human, but once a child like any other. What do you
That's
remember?
enough, Ordis. Scan for sentient energy on Earth. Recent activity.
I don't think... Oh, what's this? Marking on navigation. How did you know? Oh, Ordis, this is the operator we're talking about.
Let's investigate it. Let's go get a new Warframe too. A really fun one. Okie dokie doke. I am excited. Oh, without question, the Dawns. Yeah. We're all the same at one point.
I am not sensing any sentience,
Oh, crap.
but there is something.
Need to work on.
Oh no, ghouls. Something must have disturbed their incubation sacs. A disgusting life cycle.
You know what I have to do with this particular character? I'm gonna have to do the Seedus grind for all those little auger, like the.
I am just a bug-addled Cephalon, but if you ever need to talk, Ordis would be happy to hear how depressed you are.
Thanks, man. That's really nice. Anyway, I need those auger mods because those things, they're fantastic. They give you a nice chunk of ability or of, you know, whatever, range, strength, but they're super cheap. They don't cost a lot to upgrade. So at some point, we're going to have to go down and do that. That's pretty important. What's nice is once you get through this quest, you actually get a really serious intensify mod. So your ability, strength at least, gets a big jump. Unfortunately, another thing that this character is going to need is some endo. We're going to get a lot of endo to upgrade some stuff. I highly encourage people, if you are tapped out on your character in Warframe, to make a second one. It's actually a lot more fun than you think. Like if I had more time, I would probably be playing this character a lot more frequently. Because like you get to, in this variation, all the things that you didn't know that you had to do. Oh. Cool. Like this time around, you can do all kinds of stuff that you were never able to, like, because you just didn't even think about it. Like right now, perfect example. I know, even though this character hasn't completed the Silver Gray, right? Titania is a frame that you gotta have for any number of reasons, especially whenever you're like trying to upgrade. Because if you want, let's say you want to be able to get endo, at least a decent amount of endo frequently. Like you can always use Titania at least once a week to go and hit Maru's thing, and that's like a guaranteed Iatan statue, if nothing else. So it's like you can just get yourself some, not to mention like Titania is just great in all kinds of different scenarios, but like right now I can start getting some of the thresh cones together, maybe on the way out. If there's what's that lily thing, moonlight lilies and stuffy duffy, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. It's just a time thing, I know, because Warframe 1 takes up so much time, you know? But damn, it's fun, man. It's a good time. I think, do you remember whenever, like, do you guys remember whenever, like, there were, like, long swaths of time where there was no content in Warframe? Dude, those days have just been gone. Holy. PC cried playing Warframe. Quick question. Does Warframe have a certain line of update they follow? Like, it looks like essentially the way that Warframe does it is you have, the way that they've been doing it is you're going to have, the main quest is going to come out in December at some point. That's going to be the focus of the year's, that's going to be like the big one, right? And then usually about 2 to 3 months after that, you will get an extension of the first quest in a little bit of an update. Like there'll be something, usually you go to kind of the same area, but there's a different story beat to it, and there's different weapons and stuff like that you can get. And then there's usually another, not always, I'm just going off the last maybe 2, 3 years, but then there's potentially another update either shortly before or shortly after TennoCon, whenever they reveal what the next year's thing's going to be. And then there's usually one more update, at least beforehand, of some little quest. And I'm just going, like last year you had, or let's go off the year before, because I can remember these. It was like Whispers in the Walls, and then it was Laverian, Drusus Laverian's thing, whatever, what was that called again? God, I keep forgetting that one. Dante's something. And then there was Jade Shadows. And then there was Lotus Eaters. And then, oh no, then there was Comey. And then like Lotus Eaters was like a little tiny thing. Like a little prequel, if you will. And so that's what the year, I think it's been like that for like 2 or 3 years now. So like I said, I think in that regard, we should we'll have Owlweaver here. We can probably look forward to one more thing before, at least one more thing after Owlweaver. Before next year's thing, like a December's big thing. Maybe, and then maybe in that little teaser thing too.
But I think she wants me to see this. I'll scan the scene. Check for Warframe traces.
Oh man, host migrations are the worst. They are absolutely the worst. Oh man, the first time I played this on stream,
Warframe composition.
I couldn't find any of this shit.
I am not familiar with this design.
We'll see if I can remember any of it now. I know there was like one. That's just swords out there. Oh, here's a face.
Almost crude. If you can get another scan, I may be able to synthesize a partial schematic of the victim.
Zerg?
I know what you're going through. With the Lotus, I mean.
I think you're in bad shape
Remember how
right
you
now,
abandoned me? But look at how
Angry.
happy I am now. Don't worry, operator. We'll find her. Processing.
Ortis still kind of. That's another one. They're going to do a quest with Ortis at some point. You know that, right? We're going to figure out what's really going down with this. With our. Yes, I would like to do it. Thank you. I would. This one. What? Remember.
This blade may predate everything in your arsenal. Very faint traces of mineral exposure. From Lua. I have extraction ready. I think you should hurry.
Pick that up, you know? Just real quick, let's just let's see what's here. Oh, nope, can't. Just don't get this opportunity, you know, too frequently to come over here without having to go to the simulacrum. That's so pretty. Wow, they really messed that place up. Damn, the moon looks like shit from a distance. I mean, it looks like kind of a cool techno variation of it, but like when you realize like what really went down there, that's not so cool anymore.
Ortis, what's going on?
Are they coordinating an ambush? I may have underestimated ghoul intelligence. Expect resistance toward the extraction zone.
With the question that we really want to ask, if you ask me, isn't how the Tenno know or have access to Umbra's memories, right? But why? Why would these things occur? I mean, I get it, yeah. If they didn't, then you wouldn't have the mission. Yeah, I know. But there's still I go in the same thing whenever I talk about the beginning of the Chains of Harrow, right? The beginning of the Chains of Harrow, even though it's categorized as a distress call, right? There's nothing distress call about it. It's a memory. What's back here? Oh no, I don't have any. I don't have the right apothecary yet because I didn't even do anything. All it is it's a recording of a memory, and it's set out in such a vague way. It makes you really wonder why the Tenno would even get involved in such a thing to begin with. So I've been working with some new combinations on my controller to try to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Make up for the deficiencies of a controller when it comes to melee. See how like when you're doing melee, it's just like there's just no way to keep it on a character? A lot of that has to do with how the buttons are set up, so I'm trying to flip some things around that I'm actually using my left trigger. The left trigger as the melee. Not right now, I don't have it on because I haven't mastered enough. Be surprised how hard it is to learn like new controls and different things. But so essentially I'm using the B button to bullet jump to what do you call it, to slide. I'm getting a lot of pieces for that thing. And so in order to bullet jump, I have to flip between the A and B button just over and over and over again. So they're not too far away. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't mess my thumb up because it's it's like an additional amount of work. But what it allows is for me to focus on using both thumb buttons to keep my eye on the character and attack them without them flipping around and me losing sight of them and stuff like that. Now, I'm sure that for PC players and whatnot, this is probably a lot easier of a scenario that you don't have to worry about. But for someone like myself, it's a bit of a problem that I've had to figure out. Because I don't think DE is going to implement anything in the way of like a lock-on mechanic. I mean, they do kind of have one in Duviri. Sorta. Hold the swamp button. Okay, so Aston, the reason why I haven't been able to do a PC flip mainly because I have carpal tunnel in both of my hands. So I have to keep my hands essentially like sideways versus like down, like if you had your fingers on a keyboard. And same thing with the mouse. If I do that for any any stretch of time, essentially, I won't be able. I can't play. I've often mentioned. I don't know.
Reconstructed what I could.
You may
Check
not
your
have heard
foundry,
this, but
operator.
I have one of those vertical keyboards where essentially like it's a keyboard that's split in half, and it's literally like it's vertical, and I actually type kind of like I'm playing an accordion almost. So what the controller allows for me to do is because the natural positioning of it is essentially what I need with, the way that you hold a controller. What I've done is I've made alterations to the back buttons, or not the buttons itself, but to the levers that you use, and I've extended them. So I aim with my left pinky, and I shoot with my right pinky. Because that's the only finger that's not attached to the carpal. So I can literally shoot for days and days and days, and I don't have any pain. So it's actually kind of worked out really well. But it just makes it weird, like when
If any Tenno has linked with this design.
when
The transference
I
board
want
seems
to
different,
change something
but we
up,
cannot build
it's like
this
I
without
have to
more
go
detail.
through like a week or two.
What about Lua? You said there were traces on the weapon.
Right.
I wanna
One
run
step
up these
ahead,
two.
aren't you, operator? Marking on navigation.
Oh, just from as I worked in computer stuff since I was a young, my first job, I was setting up computers and teaching people on computer systems at 23. And I did that until like I was 32, 33, and then I actually was doing it more of an in-house executive position type thing. But doing that using like I had a laptop on me 24/7, and it was just I've always been a gamer too, so you think you're invincible until you're not. And so one day I just started having pain, and after that I realized if I want to keep playing and doing the things that I like to do, I'm gonna have to change everything. So when I looked and saw if there was anything available like for people like me, and actually there's a bunch of neat things. I have a vertical mouse that I modify my own stuff. Like my vertical mouse has a thumb rest on it too, so that I don't have to it's completely comfortable. In order for me to do what I like to do or what I'm wanting to do, I had to make changes. So that's it. Well, that's like I have a vertical keyboard. It's as good as you're gonna get. That being said, it's still not nearly as comfortable and as contoured as a controller. Now I can play on PC with a controller, in the same way. At this point, the only, it's just everything's a lot more compact on console. Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what, Aston. I will take a photo of it and I'll post it here after, if you wouldn't mind reminding me though, because otherwise I'll forget. I actually think I've done some wonderful things. I personally like to. What I've wanted to do is take photos of the alterations that I've done and put them out there and see if other people with carpal tunnel would be interested in me, because I just a friend of mine is I'm not a friend. The point is I'm getting a hand-me-down 3D printer here shortly, and so if I can provide something like that for other people and allow them to continue to game, I feel like that would be a great thing. Because like I said, I have a couple different little modifications that, while on the surface don't seem like they're much, I'm telling you, they're the difference between being able to game for literally hours on end and not being able to game for 10 minutes. So I will do that though. I'll take a photo of like my little setup here and I'll show you all what I'm talking about. I think you'll find it really interesting. It's crazy looking stuff. But let's get Umbra to choke us out, Oh, what? More data required. Wait, what? What did I mean? What did I need? I missed something. Explore Lua. Fair enough. I guess we gotta do. Oh yeah, that's right. We gotta go get his stuff. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot. Well, so here's another thing. Aston, okay, that's cool. Like I said, remind me after, like towards the end of stream, if you would, if you're still here, like, or if you're gonna leave, just put a little thing in there. No, because I'll forget.
Are you sure you want to build this warframe? It could be dangerous.
What I saw, what the Lotus showed me, this Warframe knew Ballas. It tried to attack him.
What? The warframes are transference controlled, battle envoys for the operator to command. I don't understand.
This one is different.
Sure is. I mean, like I said, if any of you are interested, that's what I was thinking of is, I was actually thinking too of using that. I wanted to make something cool for channel members in the 3D printer. I was kind of thinking about making a little, I don't know, maybe like a ring thing with the insignia, the member of the channel, or something like that. That like we could. I don't know how exactly I would be able to, get it all, get them to everybody. But that was the thought process with the 3D printer. Otherwise, what the hell am I going to do with that thing? Because remember, even if somebody gives you a 3D printer, you still have to pay for everything that goes into it. It's expensive for all that stuff, So it's like, I think that's half the reason why it hasn't been used, is because it's too expensive to do that. But for the channel, I do think there are some very unique opportunities that could do. So if I can get it and I can figure out a thing to do and how to do it and further, be able to get it to people, that could be a neat little thing for channel members moving forward, right? Well, they took it from everywhere, Aston. The Orkin took all the gold from every single planet that you could possibly have. This is interesting, and I think you'll enjoy this. So as I was going through some of the dialogue in the KIM, some of you might know this already, but for those of you that don't, the Drifter goes into detail about some of what life was like during the Orkin era. This was pre-Zeraman jump. And apparently, most of the people, like the regular citizens, were pushed together in tiny little places. Like, you didn't have a lot of room to live, you didn't have a lot of food. Like, they basically, the actual citizenry of the Orkin had very, very little. But the Orkin elite had so much, right? I don't know. Like I said, I think that there's all kinds of options. Like, what I could probably do is maybe during one of the member streams is put out a couple different ideas that I have and then have you all vote on them. Like I said, I have to make sure it's feasible before I do anything else, because I don't want to sit there and promise you something that I'm going to make and then be like, oh, okay, guess what? That cool idea that we all had? Yeah, no, I can't do it, so forget it. Yes, so the Roman Empire and Dark Shotgun, that is exactly what the Orkin Empire is predicated upon, per DE. They are looking for, or they are supposed to be essentially inspired by the Romans.
An Orokin cipher? Impossible to bypass. They use mnemonic code glyphs drawn directly from your memory. Perhaps search the area?
You ain't kidding about that.
These
Time
markings
is
seem
the enemy.
fresh. Are there more?
You know what? Now that there's so many people in chat here, I might as well just put this out too. Does anybody have any experience with clipping long streams and then putting them together into like smaller videos with like the important parts and stuff? We got BBB and triangle thing. Because I'm looking to try to do that if at all possible.
Another. Is that a paired symbol there?
The order may be important for the cipher.
Monster Stoner, that is correct, yes. And in fact, if you go back to essentially in 1999, all the writing that you see on the wall is essentially like it's Orokin, but it also has kind of a primitive vibe to it. So whatever was, prior to the quote-unquote
Bortus, what are these?
Orokin,
Some new sentient design?
An old
whatever they
design.
called
Mimics.
themselves.
Sentient mimics. These haven't been seen since the old war.
Sorry, I need my moon resources.
How did
I'm sure you all
mimics get to the
understand.
origin system? Operator, be vigilant when approaching.
Well,
things.
if you do have something like that, let me know in the
Things?
comments of this
Sorry, I
stream,
had to be more specific.
and if how I could get in touch with Discord or whatever. But I'm looking to put out a little bit of additional content for people, especially that can't make the streams, but don't necessarily want to sit through. Sometimes my streams are 5 hours long and stuff like that, so. That would be a nice little thing to add some additional, Stop that, Mimic. I'd be, like I said, I would... Any of you that that enjoy the channel already and kind of get the vibe of what we're doing here, it would, to me, because there's a couple people, I've gotten some offers online, but I don't necessarily know any of the people, and I don't know if they understand kind of like how. You all come here, you get the vibe of how our streams are and what you like and don't like, and clearly, you all seem to come to a couple of them, so it must be all right. And if you're able to kind of put into a smaller helping, if you will, for those that don't have the time to watch a 5 hour, 4 hours sometimes, whatever it is. That would be really great. So if you are interested in that, just like I said, if you could either message me on Twitter or whatever they call it, these X, whatever, or just put a comment just in the comment section of this stream. That would be great.
You found one. Memorize it.
You don't even have to give any, don't give any personal information or anything. Just like something, hey, we could talk on Discord, or hey, we could talk on Twitter, or whatever. Well, the thing with X, Twitter, is it's fast. It's fast and easy. That's what makes it convenient. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I try to stay off it as much as I can because... okay, now, don't ever go on the For You tab. I promise you, if you go on the For You tab, it's a trap. It's meant to put a bunch of stuff out there to make you, to force you into engaging. Not force you, but make you read stuff and look into stuff, and you don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want it.
Another. And look, a different marking beside it.
Okay, we got flowers. We're going to call that Tri-Delta and flowers. Nice. But getting back to the whole thing, or when you want information on Warframe or stuff like that, DE still uses that as when they push something out new there. So you just kind of know. It happens. There's a cost to everything, Shotgun. Yeah, you just, like I said, you gotta, you have to be willing to be, I feel like you have to be willing to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Very strict on what you look at, because it can, it'll, you know, it's just, they put that shit, they put it out in front of you because they know what they know that you want. That the amount of, if anybody hasn't figured it out, and I'll tell you this just from, you know, I think I've told this story before, but hear me out, all of you, because especially if you are a bit younger, I want you to understand this information beforehand, just to know what you're getting yourself into in the world. When I worked for Vacation Timeshare for a while. Now, I've been a salesman my whole life, and you guys, I'm sure you know, basically from the channel and from the context of my videos, that I know how to word things in order to make the things that I'm telling you, you know, seem more appealing. But there's a cost that you pay for that, because, like, you know, as a salesman, if you force a sale onto somebody because you needed the commission, but you find out later that that sale, like, made them miss a payment on something or something else like that, like, the feeling that you originally had, at least for me, of like, hey man, I did a really good job selling, right? It kind of dissipates to nothing, because I'm like, oh great, you know, wow, I manipulated somebody into, you asshole, that was an order. How could you do that to me? It just sucks. And the point of my story here is that when I was in that, I noticed that they were teaching these kind of like psychological hacks to just everybody. Anybody that was walking through as a new employee, and many employees weren't even there for very long. So they would be teaching these type of psychological manipulation tactics.
That should be the last one.
That's
now,
a triangle.
to figure out the correct ordering.
And I got to thinking about it while I was there. It was the reason why I ended up quitting, because I was just like, look, this is no good. You can't just give this you have to temper this information. You can't just offer this information out to people and not have them understand the power of it, because yeah, the human brain can absolutely be hacked, unfortunately. Like, there are ways that you can say things that make it very difficult to not do, especially if somebody's really good at it. And now what you have is that in every kind of advertisement, it seems that people they're using these manipulation tactics. And like, it's scary, because it means it could be in everything that you do, like everything. And you got to watch. Let's see here. Is it? I don't want to say that it's giving me the answer above there, but is that what it's doing? Is it because I remember this being like so much more difficult.
You have all the codes, but the order seems wrong.
Okay, good. Okay, so because like I said, I remember the first time that I did this, it was like, dude, it was difficult. Let's see. I'm sorry. There's a question here, Lance.
These markings signify danger. Was this a containment cell for something?
Umbra. Cave-ins must have compromised the enclosure.
Likely.
And then-
There are still strong aftershocks from when you put Lua out of the void.
And I would go as last two. It's actually easier than you'd think to farm plat. The problem is that you do have to get involved with the trade. You have to get it basically into the trade game. So you have to be cognizant of some vultures. But if you can get people that are on the regular, which I think the majority of people are on the regular, not the vast majority, all you need to really do is get relics and then play endless relic cracking missions. Now, if you just started, that's something that's going to be a little bit further down the line for you. But I think somebody else in the game already said it. At this stage of the game, just play. Allow yourself to enjoy Warframe, allow yourself to enjoy Warframe and all the little neat, welcoming changes that the new game has to it. Like, there's so many different things that you can do now. Do Nightwave. That's going to be like a little, almost like a battle pass thing, but it will allow you to really bypass having to really put any kind of money into the game if you don't want to. Yeah, and that's, one of the other things, getting back to the psychology things, is it wouldn't be as bad, but it doesn't seem like in schools and the people that are teaching, they're not acknowledging any of this to keep people aware. Like, I'll tell every one of you, like, be suspicious of everything. You're better off. It doesn't hurt you to look into anything, for 2 seconds. Take a couple looks just to make sure things are on the level. And I promise you, it will save you so many times. It will save you so many times. I'm dealing with it right now, guys. I can't even tell you how many scam offers I get for the channel. So much so that I had to literally put like a vacation setting on my email, because I get all these people saying they're from all these big companies, yet the what do you call it? The emails are from, some crazy thing. What was that? That's interesting. But anyway, point of the story, without being incredibly long-winded and getting off the idea of Warframe altogether, is question everything. You're gonna be much better off for it. It's scary if people were being fired. If anybody's being, critical thinking is so key right now. You have to have it just to save yourself, like from, not getting scammed, making good deal, with whatever you're trying to buy. If you're trying to get a car or whatever, it's like, you gotta know. Look into it yourself. If you're not getting it, if you're not getting this from the people that it should be teaching you, then look into critical thinking on your own. I promise you. It's never gonna hurt you. Now, I want you to consider a few things. What is this area called here, everybody? Back in the Warframe world. See, to me, it's just weird that these... If I'm understanding this correctly, yeah, okay, so hear me out. Vitruvian, yes, yes indeed, yes indeed. From what I know of Orican language, this does not say, like, that's not how you write enemy. Right? Oh, that's a good one too. The spiral. I didn't think about that. That's a good catch. Doesn't this seem eerily similar to the Requiem words?
It is with the greatest of risk that I commit this recording. The codices within reveal the hidden weakness of your most feared enemy. My creations, my frames of war.
Okay. Now we're going to get into the meat.
A Vitruvian. This is rare Orican technology. Incredible it survived this long. You should destroy it immediately.
What? No. We need to get inside. But it's locked to a new set of codes. I'm bringing it back for analysis.
I was afraid you'd say that.
So, now something else that somebody brought up in an earlier stream. This was a while back, but definitely for those that didn't catch it, keep in mind when, excuse me, I'm trying to speak here. When we put this Vitruvian in it forces our Ortis to lose his emotional precept and become oddly indifferent to everything. I just find that so strange. Damn mimics. Can't even let me speak.
Executed.
All right, now we're getting to it. I picked up 2 more lunar pictures. Nice. Oh,
This
hey.
looks interesting.
It sure does. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you there, Darvo. Okay.
Operator, I'd rather not connect that Vitruvian to my systems. It could
Make me crazy.
affect my systems in unforeseen ways.
This may have belonged to Ballas. He's our only way to the Lotus. Please, Ortis.
Marcus Vitruvius
Had to
Quill.
say please, didn't you?
The Weaver of Fate. I like that.
Ordis, you need to learn how to stand up for yourself. To say no and mean it, even if it is the operator.
That seems like it's different sound-wise. I like it better.
I have been upgraded, Starchild. Your Warframe blueprint now has the required data. Check Foundry.
me pay for it. Yeah, at least it's only a couple seconds. That being said, I'm if you do a lot of the early quests, you get a bunch of Warframes straight off the bat. I mean, you really do. This is a keeper though. My whole thing is that he has the same type of voice effect that the Man on the Wall uses, and it was done by a Vitruvian, and it removes his emotional precepts essentially, which we're going to find that out later. Wood. Yeah, Kuva. Nice. Right? Is there a particular glyph that you're looking for? Because I probably don't have it. Is it the one with the face, like this one? So, Aston, you know, this is a really good question for you then. Here's the thing that I have to ask. There's two different variations of Glast, though, in Warframe. There's the one that's kind of a reverb effect, right? But there's a secondary one where there is a copy. Actually, there's two, because I've redone the same voice for videos. There's a copy, but that copy is then pitch shifted very low. And then there's a secondary one behind it that's also pitch shifted low, but it's not quite as, it's almost like, if you can think of it as an accord, like there's almost like a third and a fifth off of the regular. And then there's a slight, like a reverb or slapback echo, something to that regard. Where did the ship turn? Someone's gonna have to rewind the stream. I think it went like this way. And the thing is trying to figure out which is which, because the Lotus's voice, like the regular Lotus voice, has that glass effect, right? But it doesn't have that deep undertone with it. But when you hear the Man on the Wall, that his voice does. Another one that you can hear is Albert Entradi, especially you can hear it during the Hex quest, especially at the very end of the Hex finale. If you take the music off, you can really hear it. Nisi Rizalka has it. You can especially hear it when they are on the Zerman, and she's speaking directly to the Drifter and saying, the things like, these gifts I have given freely to you are a piece of me. Like, you can hear, because the voice actor, I don't know, I think it's just because of the way that the voice is mixed, but there's like this tinniness to the end of certain things that she says that really comes out with that lowered version of her voice. The other place that you find it, which is really interesting, is in the scene where Dominus Thrax grabs the Drifter during the Duviri paradox and tells him, as he's supposed to be Teshin, you know how he changes forms a couple times? So that's something to keep an eye out for. That's something to keep an eye out for everybody. Like if you're playing the quests, if you're trying to figure out who's who, these are the subtle little things I feel at least DE is trying to put out there for us. Oh shit, it's level 30. Hey, this is what transference is like.
Good morning, old friend.
Hey, I think that's the only time.
I'm afraid the disease has taken your voice.
It looks
But
real
we've
good.
prepared the finest serums to treat you. Shall we pass the time with a game of Comey, like old times?
You remember this game, don't you? Think you'll move and the board senses. Oh, this. I've had them fit you with a transference bolt in honor of our history together.
And look who hasn't left your side since you took ill.
Look at him, old man. Look at your son.
Wait a second. If transference bolts work,
Can he hear me?
then anybody
Father?
can
It's
command a
me.
warframe, right?
Isa, do you remember me?
Of course he remembers you, young Dax.
Which will make this reunion all the more tragic when you watch him die.
I'm gonna try to win. They took the cheese out, unfortunately. There was a cheese way that you could win the Comey literally every time without question.
Ordis! What happened?
The warframe I warned you not to build, that you built anyway, caused a massive transference overload and damaged my precepts. It has escaped out into the system.
When I linked to it, there was
Yeah, but-
something there. A memory.
Warframes are transference
Ballas
proxies for the
is
Star Child.
controlling,
They do not
at least to
have
some
memories.
degree, Umbra's
Well, this one does.
body.
Might be
right?
why it's
At least to
unstable.
some degree.
Ordis, let me look at the Vitruvian.
Yeah, look at the spiral. That's a good catch. Oh, I didn't even notice that, Ray. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a fun game, but sometimes I don't quite understand the rules of it. Like, I think I understand the rules. No, nothing happens special if you win. I've won before. Nothing. Isa says something like, "Oh,
What led us here?
he's the best at this."
You did. You vile blasphemy.
Now remember, that thing right
Machines
there
thinking,
is what she
breeding.
wears.
You were to bear us a new, promised land. But when you arrived at that distant world, you knew that in time, we would bring ruin to it as well, as we had to Earth. And so it was, we came to war.
Did I say loop? I meant spiral.
Ordis, we need to track that Umbra warframe.
Done, Star Child.
Gemma, I'm sorry, what'd you say? How did we get from Arthur Umbra? Oh, okay. So check this out. This is something I was actually gonna to kind of bake in here to the discussion. Umbra, I believe, okay, peep this. It might be true. What if the reason why Arthur has a messed up eye is because he was injected with Umbra's Excalibur frame, like stuff. So that's just part of what he's going to become. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jim, are you leaving? I was just about to before you go, let me answer your question. That's essentially what it is that it appears as though Umbra is either the first Excalibur or was also injected with Excalibur Helminth. But I would actually, like I said, I would make the case that Excalibur Umbra is the first. Excalibur, that is. And that then Ballas would have taken that and used that as the batch for future Excalibur Warframes. And I think that may actually even, it's possible that the reason why Arthur's eye is messed up isn't because he took that blow himself. Rather, that's part of the transformation that's beginning. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. Meliodas, I can't wait because I've been those little data things in. I want to know who actually put them there. Oh, does it say Arthur was injured by a mirror? But is that's the eye thing definitively, Kobe? Oh, okay. See, I didn't see that. All right, maybe not then. That is one portion of the KIM that I missed. I must have gotten that piece of data. There's a lot of data in there, so it's absolutely possible and probable from what you are saying. Heck, that's possible that those two could have been working together. It would make a lot of sense, especially with the requirement for void in order for it to even be able to work. Are there Warframe variants like Umbra and Stalker? Not that we know of. I mean, I guess you could make the case that Temple...
Starchild, are you seeking revenge for its damage to me? Will you destroy this Umbra Warframe?
No, the codes are in his memory. If I can get close, I'll go in again and try to recover them. He's the key to finding the Lotus. I can feel it.
I don't know. I never got that. Well, like I said, that's definitely possible. But I missed that piece of the dialogue. That sucks. There's so much in there. There's so much. Like I said, I just within the last couple days realized or saw that particular piece with Entradi in the Kuva thing. And Cap Gamer, I can't wait for this update. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. So Temple is going to essentially be there at the Tenno's Uprising. I mean, I could attempt to explain it to you, but I'll be honest, I would be speculating as to how it all works out with there's some kind of not satellite, but a comet. I don't think we're going to Tauri. I know everybody wants it really bad. I still think that there's more to do before we get there. But I mean, hey, if I'm wrong, awesome. Awesome. Everyone wins, no one loses. Here's what I can tell you. Based upon what I think in regards to the Hex quest and what happens at the end, the last place we want to go is Tau. Because that would mean the man in the wall is ready for some sentience within the fold now. And, you know, provided they're not already there in some ways. See, it's just like mental health singer. I don't know that anybody else can do the whole make his own prime thing because remember, Lavas was only able to do it because of Lavas' abilities through alchemy. Being able to essentially transmutate different metals into other metals and things of that nature. Let's see if I can screw this up really bad like normal.
You may recover.
Oh, wow! That was the best I've ever done it right there. You're working on 4 games? That's
Your
awesome.
move. Your turn.
All right, calm down, Ballas. I'm looking around here, buddy. It's a game of patience.
Finally.
Look at these shoes.
I see. Take your time.
All right, you be quiet. I got screwed up in the very beginning, so. Oh, crap.
Mine.
Thinking it was a full game. I keep forgetting that you can only do the one. There it is.
Curious.
He loves this game. I'll never forget the time I finally beat him. But now I'm thinking he just let me win.
You served with distinction, old Dax. We commissioned a portrait in your honor, there, on the wall.
The sentient battle at Hull. I can't imagine. you were awarded the Lua Cross for valor.
Will you follow in your father's path?
Of course.
He will, and his children will. You see, these are the stakes of this little game. Each stone I capture will be another, and another, and another, culled from your subversive bloodline. You thought you could outplay me? I've had lifetimes to plan my defection. You spied on me, intercepted my communications. But I saw your move long before you took it. And so, we come to the consequences.
Father, you all right? Please, do something for him.
Star Child, were you successful?
I couldn't breathe.
Somehow you are inverting the flow. Not from Tenno to Warframe, but Warframe to Tenno. There may be residual effects. Return to the ship.
No, so it's not supposed to be a good thing. All right, so check this out. I was just thinking about it. What if all the Warframes are built with these little triggers in them, like how Umbra has? Like, what if the proto-frames have the same situation going? Where, like, if certain things occur... Oh, crap. Crap. Like, if they see certain symbols or they see certain things or whatever, that their transformation into things will occur quicker. And that, like, that's built into all Warframes, even the proto-frame, so much to the point that if, you know, like, what if the proto-frames are essentially just, like, you know, they're like ticking time bombs, and all they need are those trigger things. Your parts. If you're willing to give me some parts, I'll take some parts, you know? You have no honor. You could have been helping me with the sentience. Someday, you will. Just so you know. Someday you will. I don't want to call myself a soothsayer or a psychic, but I'm just telling all you Grineer that I didn't kill here today, you're going to be helping me fight. Okay? That's right. Mark my words. Mark my... Oh, sorry. Oh, hello. Never have enough of those, especially in the early game. And are there any Sarracenia? Oh, yes. Pick up a few of these, because we're going to need it for an Apothic at some point. It's guaranteed. I can still hear Umbra yelling in the background. That's all wrong. Yeah, okay. Yay.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
So, Harry Capybara, I think the answer lies in the idea that Umbra's the only Warframe blueprint, right, that comes assembled. Every single one of the other, it doesn't matter what Warframe you know, aside from the one that you have in the very beginning, right? When you get a Warframe, you get pieces. You get this piece, you know, the chassis, the systems, and the neuroptics, and then you have your blueprint. Umbra's different in the fact that there are no pieces. Gabriel, hello. All right, let's go back into the Vitruvian.
Our hubris shone like a black star. For our technology, our war machines were your kin. How easily you turned them against us. We were forced to older means, not circuits.
I mean, I know nobody
Nor
likes
right,
Ballas,
but
his voice
flesh
actor.
and disease.
So good.
Our horrors past, our ravaged outer colonies became gardens. We cultured the infestation, conceiving of a hybrid, transformed, but only just. The Helminth was created, born to yield these new warriors, worthy of battle against you, the great and terrible Hunhow.
You know, I know everybody hates Ballas, right? But this is infested right here. Everybody hates Ballas, but Ballas is essentially the one that's given the Tenno the most, if you think about it. Given the Tenno the most, offered them the ability to do certain things. It's really a double-edged sword with that guy.
We took our
Now,
greatest,
he wanted for his own
volunteers or not, and
reason.
polluted them with these cultured reagents. They transformed. They became infested.
But you can't deny that a great portion of the things that we grind for, that we find necessary for our ability to wage war, came directly from Ballas or some kind of design of his.
But only just. Their skin blossomed into sword steel. Their organs interlinked with untold resilience. Yet their minds were free of the infested madness. Or so we thought. We set them upon the battlefield, biodrones under our command. The Warframes, all of them failures. Surprised? They turned on us, just as you did. And so we had no choice but to commit them to grave. This is all you know, Hunho, but there is a hidden half, a secret that lies within a place forbidden to you and your kind. I speak of the Void.
Starchild, repairs continue. Allow me to test vestigial precepts for a moment, like caring.
Okay. Nice orders.
Operator, you need to stop this.
I'm so glad
You
you're
could
not
suffer
indifferent
permanent harm
anymore.
from Umbra's memory. What if you internalize all this?
I feel like he's leading me to the truth about Ballas. Right now, it's all I have to go on.
That's true. Yeah, Albrecht knows that, well, there's a whole other thing of creepy craziness going on with our dear Albrecht that I'm hoping in this next update we start to get a little more information on. Because I would say that if I got the opportunity to speak to Albrecht in person, he would have a whole shit ton of explaining to do. I have a thought. Why did the Orcan erase any record of ancient Earth? I wonder if it's because so the Orcan could take credit. Absolutely. It's Zerg, we may be finding out that, because for the longest time, I think most of us assumed that the infestation was a creation of the Orcan, and now we're finding out that only because we went back to 1999, that may not necessarily be the case. Had we not gone back, we would have never uncovered that piece of data. So you could be onto something there. See the mind behind Warframes. Others created frames, but you mean Gabriel? You talking about Ballas? Yes, Ballas is the man behind Warframes. He's even the one when we're talking about Albert Entradi too. Entradi's use of Warframes came specifically from Ballas's stuff, if you will, his technology, research, design, whatever. So our Warframes are his creations.
Ballas must be tracking Umbra now. I'm detecting increased sentient presence in the area.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. You have no clue. Any Warframe quests with the man in the wall, you got me. I mean, you got me right from the bat. You got me. Now, is the quest going to be good or is it going to be a good story? Can't say because it's not out yet. But you put man in the wall in a Warframe quest for me, and you just instantly have my attention. Wow. Just gonna calm it down. A lot of killing been done here. I wish I could sleep until the update. Yeah, dream. I don't think he's happy. There's a lot of destruction here. Just gonna walk right around here. Don't even worry about it. Your cameras suck. Oh, hello. Ding. Yeah, shotgun, that's possible too. And unfortunately, we still don't quite have enough information on that. Hack, where is that data about Parvos' hand? We could probably figure out a way to...
The area is locked down.
Okay.
We need to take care of those mimics.
Haha. Thought you could hide from me. I hide from you.
Keep searching. They are here somewhere.
One right here. That's cool. That'd be good. You know, a little Samara standing while we're here, right? Infested Goku Black. Oh man, that's scary. I'll have to keep that out. I'll have to check that out.
Lockdown ended. Very good. Now, where
This
is
is
that
why is it a
Warframe?
Prize. I missed some of the comments here, unfortunately. There was a piece of data there. Let's see. Why is it a prize? Look, I can't see what you guys were talking about there.
Operator, please be careful. He is not in control.
What do you mean he's not in control? Okay, well, who is? Oh, I gotta deplete Umbra's shields. I keep forgetting about that part of it. Whoa, you're fast. He's got some powerful abilities. Oh, wait.
Now is your
I gotta
chance.
do the whole...
Use transference.
I keep forgetting that, like, because I don't have, like, an amp or a regular mode yet, or a mode amp, whatever. It's not the same as a like the Sirocco or anything.
Trouble concentrating, old friend. Look at all your Comey stones I've taken.
I feel like
This one, a brother. These three, his children. And on and on. All of these gone to the Jade Light.
How do I know that you didn't just put all these pieces here just like this? Are you a cheater? I could totally see you being a cheater, Ballas, by the way. Okay. Where am I allowed to put it?
Father, do you remember your Shazin?
What?
Remember how you'd sing to us? Smiles from Duran?
I remember Smiles of Duran. Yeah, I constantly whistle it
How
these days.
thoughtful to remind him of his better days. Come now, your move. Only a few stones left.
I guess I have to.
Isa,
have to do this.
looks like your father still has his sharp wit.
My father understands the game better than anyone.
Yet you couldn't understand why I give my secrets to our enemy. How could I betray my own kind? But you have never had to sacrifice your love for faith. Imagine to live forever with only one memory. Seeing the one you love die.
That was it right there. The minute that the Orcan made Ballas commit Margulis to the Jade Light, that was the beginning of the Warframe story. Because up until that point, the Orcan had complete reign over pretty much everything. And in the grand scheme of things, they had just beaten the Sentients too. So the last actual, let's say, enemy that the Orcan were really challenged by had just been defeated. So, again, as I go back to it, with all the people that hate Ballas, yeah, his methods are horrible, but the Tenno children wouldn't even be able to fight back without him. It's just the reality of the thing. And a lot of it has to do...
You would have to imagine a lovingly cultured infestation swarms within your blood. Your transformation has begun, reshaping you into a sacred surrogate of the unholy Tenno. A warframe with but a single burning memory.
But see, that's...
a miracle.
He didn't have that choice, though.
But all miracles require sacrifice.
Remember that for the next update. Rebecca specifically mentioned those words. And remember,
Gonna kill him.
had Ballas
Who's going to what?
not put
Ballas.
Margulis to death,
He's going to kill
he would have been killed too.
his son, Isa.
But aren't these memories, Operator? You cannot undo what has been done.
There's already a lot of information within kind of like the codex and stuff like that to make the case that Ballas wasn't well liked among the other executors. And in fact, I would make the argument that the reason why he even had his position still was because of what he brought to the table as far as his intellect and how he was helping the Orcan Empire. But he was then put to the same type of thing that even the Orcan underlings are brought to. That essentially, for the good of the society, you have to do whatever we say. In the case of the Orcan people, like when we're talking about, say, the Zariman citizens, their whole thing was to do exactly what they were told. They weren't given the opportunity. It wasn't like it was a sweepstakes where people could say, hey, man, you won, you're going to Tau. No, that's not what it was. You got chosen and you went. That's how it was. If you wanted, say you didn't want to go to Tau, well, too bad. You're going.
Another job well executed.
Oh, okay, I missed it then, Acid. I apologize. But that's exactly what it is with Ballas. Like, again, was he consumed by his rage and his need for vengeance? So much to the point that he just didn't even care anymore about the lives of petty people around him, that the only thing that he cared about was his particular plan and to destroy the Orcan Empire? Is that what makes him evil? Because if that's what makes him evil, that's the exact same position Albrecht Entradi has. So you can't sit there and say that Albrecht is a good guy and Ballas is a bad guy. They've both done the same things in order to get what they want to occur. And Albrecht even says it. He's not going to even care about the dust of petty lives anymore. Which, I mean, he doesn't really seem like he ever has, because look at what he's done. So, Gabriel, it was essentially, there's a couple different potential thought processes. One, you could say that it was the only way that they could heal, Ballas could be healed. But I would make the argument that it was done to essentially give Ballas a new body, because continuity isn't something that's really like available these days. but also to sell the scheme. And I won't go any further.
Before the vain faith, our people held dualism as truth. That all things were of two parts, mind and body, consciousness and matter, of our world and the void. It was from there that our answer finally came.
Yeah, but Hack, what's it matter? If in order to fix... No, Ballas... You're right, Ballas does it, but he's also... You have to remember, he's also bringing the end to the Orcan Empire. I mean, you can't just denounce that out of hand, because nobody else had been able to do that. Nobody else had been able to challenge the Orcan Empire. And so all the people that suffered under the Orcan Empire, if you really want to think about it, if they were able to get out from the Orcan, it was through Ballas's actions that occurred. And whenever you think about Albert, even if one is your doing because you feel a certain way, and the other thing is something that happened because you've brought a thing on, if you have to kill everything around you in order to make this thing that you created go away, you're not a good guy. And you're not any better either. Doesn't matter what he feels, his duty is. He's been consumed. If you need to destroy everything to do what you have to do, that's a problem.
Distorted by vague horrors, we kept the Zariman survivors within a secret reservoir. They were the missing half. Transference linked. The Warframes the body, and they the mind. I give you now the coordinates and codes to this place. But do not underestimate these devils, Hunhow.
Well,
they did what we could not. We had created monsters we could...
I know what I have to do.
Operator?
I don't need to hear it. I lived it.
All right.
Prepare the landing craft, Ortis. I'm going in myself.
So, hear me out.
I hope that doesn't mean what I think it does.
If the Seven required Margulis's death because of what she did, and as I mentioned before, there is information within multiple codex entries alluding to the idea that the other executors did not like Ballas. If Ballas would have went against their rule, perhaps they wouldn't have killed him right away, but they would have denounced him even more and potentially just put him... I still think that they would have killed him because according to the Orcan law, whenever you go against that law, the punishment is death. I mean, it's spoken out completely within the Detron crewman imprint. So, Ballas, in my opinion, and again, I'm not trying to advocate and say, oh yeah, he's a great guy, because he's not. But he had a choice. He could defy the Orcan at that point. Say, no, I'm not putting Margulis to death. And then whatever would have occurred next would have essentially been Ballas either being shut up, imprisoned, killed, or just, like I said, made to be not a part of the thing. Margulis would have died anyhow, because that's what the Seven wanted. So she dies regardless if he says yes or no. Now, in his mind, and it's based upon what he says in this quest, he was like, okay, if that's what's going to happen, then I will burn this whole freaking place to the ground. I'm not going to say anything about it. You're not going to hear about it. I'm going to keep my emotions to myself. No one's going to know anything. And I'm going to act like hey, I'm just going along with orc and roll and whatever they say goes, and which would be incredibly difficult for someone who's clearly in pain, because he even says right here, he wouldn't even have done this to Umbra. But the idea was to show him the reason why. Because I have to live, and he says this, I have to live with the burning memory of killing the only person I ever loved for the rest of my life. That is what essentially the Orokin 7 did to him. So at that point, like I said, he could have just said no, and then that would have been it, and the Orokin would have continued. But Ballas, being as intelligent as he is, as resourceful as he is, and as just sheer ruthless as he is, was like, no, I will not lose. You will lose. And I'm going to do it by going underneath the nose of all of you. I'm going to go to our enemies. I'm going to give them all the information that they need to take you down. I'm going to use the things that I created for you. I'm going to use the exact weapons that I made for you, for this empire, to bring you to your knees, which is exactly what happens. The Tenno did not bring the Orokin down. Ballas did. It was his plan. It was everything that he put into play. We were the weapons. We were the tools. But if you hate the Orokin, again, I'm not saying you have to like Ballas, but you have to at least respect the fact that they screwed up. They did not understand who they were dealing with. That Ballas, love him or hate him, is an absolutely formidable person. You do not want to screw with Ballas. And they found that out the hard way. I'm telling you, like I said, no, it's not. We're not going to sit there and say that Ballas is a good guy. He's not. He let himself be consumed in the same way that Albrecht did. That essentially the things.
My Warframe is here. I just
that
have to
nothing
find
mattered but what he said, what his plan was. Nothing else matters. The lives of everything else can go to complete hell. Everything can just fall apart as long as what I need to have happen occurs. So they're still consumed by their thing, by their whatever their idea is. But you know, hey, sometimes people that are consumed can still, you know, do things, good things. Bad people can do good things. Bad people can do helpful things. Maybe it's the better.
Advise you approach with caution.
The better method of looking at it. I don't know. Space Hitler. Huh? Yeah, in ways. Maybe the other way with it. Like Orokin were like the Space Hitler, and he was like, who was that movie that Tom Cruise was in? It was about like the person that was like infiltrating the Nazi regime. Anybody remember that movie? So Circin, this was something I was talking about earlier in the stream, that I think it's possible. Check this out. That Lotus is a conceptual embodiment of Margulis. Like, literally put into the sentient, like, utilized by the Void, because the obviously, at this point, Ballas would have an understanding somewhat of the Void and what's going on. The other thing I postulated was that because he understood the continuity process, that however minds were transferred from one body to another, that Margulis's you know, consciousness was encased or somehow secured for an extra period of time after her body, her physical death, and was then imprinted or implanted, or is it something? Oh, hey, buddy. Wow. Just give me a second. I was doing some talking and looking for resources. Sorry. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Umbra. I'm only trying to help, pal. Oh my God, with this amp, it's not going to be easy. We're going to figure it out. Oh, okay. I'll take it.
You have relived this moment countless times. But our minds are linked now. We'll face this together.
Hey, look, it's like almost like we're caught in
This
a
poison
time.
he's given you.
Because
It has
Ballas
taken your
and
will
Isa
away.
aren't moving at all,
You
even though
are
we
a
are
victim
in
as much
Umbra
as your
law.
son.
Oh, there you see, he's just starting to move now. Whew.
Sorry, Isa. The time has come.
We are together.
I am honored to be your son.
No, there's no judging.
Ballas did
Heck,
this.
you were
Not
allowed your
you.
opinion too, just like everybody else.
Don't worry, old friend.
Somebody comes in here and says that they
I'm not
prefer the
going to kill you,
female
boy.
version of the voice. They're entitled to that opinion too.
You are.
That's what sucks.
Father? Father!
Yeah, man, that's. Ballas is a piece of shit. He's a murdering bastard. And there are consequences to breaking the heart of a murdering bastard. Oh, that's cool, Yoshi.
Do you remember your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, love is a huge portion of the Warframe story, which I think is the reason why the man on the wall wants to use it.
I'll never forget the time I finally beat him.
What is that thing? He understood. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, you're right. He understood. I think this is the one you're talking about. He understood Jade Light. He made Jade so he could have messed with the mechanism to take Margulis' essence out. Is that the one you're talking about there, Austin? Because if so, like I said, I agree. I think that there's some aspect. Somehow Margulis or the Lotus has Margulis's memories, has Margulis's mannerisms, has Margulis's like intentions, behavior patterns. And I mean, you know, if you think about it, after a particular point in the story, you get to actually like literally take her, you know, right? So, it's like the Undercroft. That's an interesting concept to consider.
You're all right?
Sarkson, here's my thing. That may be true, but I don't think the Man on the Wall is a benevolent character or even a neutral character. And within the KIM, like the Drifter is very adamant about it. Like, because the Man on the Wall has done some really messed up stuff. Now you could say it's because of, you know, the aspect of Albrecht that's stained him or vice versa. But the Man on the Wall is like an evil child. Like a very evil child. Mischievous. Just, I wouldn't trust him. That's true. This does look a little bit like that there, Meliodas. Just the golden version.
We had created monsters we couldn't control. We drugged them, tortured them, eviscerated them. We brutalized their minds, but it did not work. Until they came.
This is it. This is the story of Warframe right here, everybody.
And it was not their force of will, not their void devilry, not their alien darkness. It was something else. It was that somehow, from within the derelict horror, they had learned a way to see inside an ugly, broken thing. And take away its pain.
I never picked this one.
Use this memory.
It
It fuels our
wrath. Oh, there's two of them. Umbra's void copies in the background. I've had acceptance on another one. I wanted to see Wrath. I've never chosen Wrath.
Operator, you did it! Your
Do you
transference
dare?
signal is clean, synchronized with that Warframe.
Mark a path to extraction. We've got one last mission before this is done.
Marking, but I'm detecting a mass of sentient forces converging on your location. Quickly, you may be able to escape.
No.
Let
them come.
Wait, look under Umbra's arm when fusing with the operator. Oh, is that door? If I had an actual good amp, I would be hanging out beside Umber here. I guess I could probably try it, huh? And we gotta really work on this amp thing, don't we? Wow. Whee! Nice hit there, Umbra. It was out of here. Come on, buddy. Friends now. Friends. My operator beam used to just rip through sentience. I don't know if that still works the same way as it did in the second dream. Oh my god. Dude, that's like, you don't ever get a more powerful beam against the sentience. Of course, then again, we do get our Iron Man beam taken from us too. The chest laser. Oh god, that was so fun. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. My fault. Oh, yeah, that's true, everybody. Everybody should be getting their ducat farming. Better start getting on it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty close now. Pretty freaking close. You don't want to be there that week, having to grind stuff. Especially if you see something that they add or whatever. And
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
oh, I need my Caliban. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's another one I gotta. The chest laser was just one of the coolest things ever. It was so cool. I've told the story a bunch of times, but the first time I ever used it, I did it by accident. I didn't even know what the hell was going on, and it just like kind of happened. And I was
Operator,
like,
we
"This
have
is the
no
greatest
idea
thing
what
I've
Ballas
ever
is
seen."
capable of. Please reconsider this. Why would you risk it?
Ordis, I'd like to hear her.
Yes, yes, of course.
It was like
Accessing data
the
stream.
void blast. Yeah,
Which
that
should
thing
I
kind of
play?
sucked, if you remember, if I remember correctly. Let's go with the war.
Now we fight on two fronts, my child. The war without, and the war within.
Operator, there is much to be done. Please consult the navigation console.
All right, Umbra. Hold on real quick. Oh, God, this is so great. This is like the best part about this quest. Ready? Well, it's not the best part about this quest. It is the best, in my opinion, the best quest reward that you get, even over Warframes. These three. This is some wonderful stuff. I absolutely adore the Umbral mods. They just make everything better. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to do all kinds of good work here to get some mods leveled up and some. Let's see, we got 34. Wow. You know what? Just for the sake of being able to use his 4. Do I have enough? It's gonna have to be as good as it gets. Okay. Oh wait, real quick. Better make a mine. If you're hearing the fireworks, well, yeah, I assume by now you kind of know the story with the fireworks. I do apologize. But unfortunately, there isn't going to be any way of mitigating that ever. Well, the only good sometimes, no, it's it's not a good thing, but there are times whenever like they'll hit for whatever reason. I don't even know why, but oh wait, let me give me I'm doing the wrong thing here. Let me get the good energies. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. Okay. Sure. Yep. Okie dokie. Yeah, we need. Well, I need a bunch of stuff for this character in particular. Like, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of the things that seem to be like really good for adding to builds, like the little things, those auger mods from Cetus. Those are really good. I'm gonna have to start going derelict vault farming for the keys and whatnot. That's something else that's gonna have to happen. You need all that, and yeah. So I don't know if there's Grenier in there or not. Wish I had a little bit more in the way of endo, but I don't. So we're just gonna do what we can with what we got, and let's show Ballas who's boss. I don't know. Everybody keeps saying that. Is there an echo on my? Is there an echo on my voice? Like this is second account. This is second account. Because I keep hearing that, but like I don't. It's not supposed. There isn't supposed to be. I don't know why there would be an echo on my voice. Like it's not. I don't have that in the settings anywhere. It's so weird. Like I'm literally just using. It's like I have the Entradi echo. Really? Oh, boy.
He is waiting for you, but I'm detecting powerful signals emanating from the courtyard. They are calling out for reinforcements across the entire system. You don't have long.
Hey, Code, what's up? All right, I gotta be honest with you. I'm kind of liking the look of my Umbra here. This is like, because it's a different variation, where my other one's like focus on the black. I'm gonna have this character focus on the white instead. Get out of here. Sentient scum. English Air, no worries. Is the question answered? That's well, as best as I could. Let's see. I only know I was going to Prime Streamline, really? What are you doing? Bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Be down with a little Prime Streamline, though. I'm sure we could put that to use. I mean, not the illegal variation. But what was that one that the DE just put out, the Prime mod that's like why would you do that? Oh, oh, look, is this real? Yay! Oh, I needed that. Thanks, man. Thanks, dude. Yes. Endo. Nice.
I tried to release you from your torment, but it seems those devils rebuilt you.
What have you done with her? Ballas, where is the Lotus?
Has the wolf become a dog? Is this Umbra or some Tenno?
Both.
Then both will burn.
Looter Vaughn. Do I have it? I'm $2.99 at Costco. Look at Ballas just chilling there. He don't even care. Whoa. Where are you putting those clubs? Better chill out with the clubs, buddy. Actually, I gotta be honest with you. I love these three whenever I'm playing. Well, yeah, it looks kind of like that. Right? But the important thing is there's three of them that have the club hands, and they literally just take people in the corner and beat them up. It's super funny. Yeah, I'm actually digging the look of that Umbra right there.
You think you can defy me? Not even your Tenno devil can.
Prime Streamlight gets you to Saturn 6.
I created you.
Looks like you didn't do as good of a job as you thought there, buddy. Hey. Oh, yeah.
Squirm. Like the maggot you are.
That's what most of the people in the Warframe community would say.
I am just the stone. She is the hand.
Where is she? Where is the Lotus?
This all turns out to be Lotus's plan in the end. That's going to be crazy. 'Cause I was thinking about that the other day with like the whole Duviri thing. Remember whenever Hessian is talking? Oh, dude, it's like it's sitting right in front of my face what's happening in this Warframe story. And I just can't figure it out.
What? What have they done to you?
Nothing. This is what I am.
I've penetrated you with a sword. Thanks, Umbra.
Drifting, gaunt beyond the bleak star. Mother, I am coming home.
So do you think Lotus knew that Pergasa was not functioning at that point? Or if she believed that Pergasa was still alive or whatever Pergasa, you know, however that works.
I saw her, Ordis.
But it wasn't her, was it?
No. I don't know. But I'm going to find out.
Wait, didn't... Isn't that the same line that the Drifter says to Entradi regarding trying to kill Rusalka during the Hex quest? But it wasn't really her. It's not really her, is it? Huh. Huh. I always look for little things like that. All right, everybody. I want to type something about do at night abyss. It's Mesa Lake character can swear like kick your ass is the fucking hurt. Like I said, I saw the game. It actually looks pretty cool. Like I swear, if I, oh man, with everything with Soulframe coming, like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out at least a portion of my setup to be PC related. I just have to figure out how to do that. At the same time, everybody, I'm also trying to, I need to increase the amount of
Stand
content
by while I analyze the intelligence profiles of the Grineer.
that the channel's
Error,
putting
not
out,
a number.
because
Did the operator enjoy this witticism?
I feel like with a lack of other, like tons of other Warframe lore tubers, I guess you could say, I need to start focusing a little bit more on that, I guess. Maybe less on the theories and more on the stories. Do it, I said swearing. No gotcha game has that. Don't forget the setup photo. Wait, what's the setup? Oh, yeah. Yes. I will do that. But before we do that, everybody, I need to. The Pope in the Vaticano. Nice. We only have theory at the end of every quest. Well, that's true. I don't think you can ever completely get away from theory, but I do think that I have to focus a little bit more on story, because when you watch my videos, you'll get a ton of information on the lore of the game. But if you watch, I'd say, any of my videos, you come away with a kind of an odd understanding of the lore, because too much of my personal theorizing goes into what I'm trying to say that the world is based upon the research I have. And whereas I could be correct in that at some point, should the information come out, as it is right now, it's not definitive. So if you're coming to the channel looking for lore, like complete lore, no speculation lore, you may, and not realize that I do a lot of speculating, you may take away from my videos things that aren't definitive. They're not, this is not a fact in the game, but somebody that doesn't understand may come away from my video and be like, oh yeah, dude, like what he said, that's God's honest truth right there. When it's, might not be that, me interpreting things rather than that. But like I said, I want to be able to give people the ability to look at some of my videos too and say, hey, look, I'm just going to use this as a lore guide, not a speculation guide. Yeah, I did see the new insignia. That looks amazing, by the way. We're going to have our own Vitruvian form too. I do remember DK's videos. I love DK's videos. I'm going to keep the intros. I like the intros, the way I do the intros. But then I'm going to move to, like I said, they're going to be a little bit, just for a little while. And periodically, someone else had said it too. If I have theory that I need to inject into one of the things, what I'll probably end up doing is putting it at the very end. Like having the kind of the story relayed out through the whole thing, and then towards the end to say, hey, well, then, but just keep in mind that there are aspects of this that are still undefined, and this could be this, and that could be that, and for the record, maybe this could be this. Little things. That's why I feel like I won trophies when I was telling you I believe we would go back to the very before the up. Yeah, that's heck. I said the same thing. I put a thing out on Twitter long before that, because people were showing aspects of the TennoCon cosmetics that you could get, and everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to town. We're going to town." I'm like, I don't know. I think Duviri's the first stop. The only reason why I said Duviri is because the Hex they couldn't stop talking about it. Every one of them is interested in Duviri, and it's weird because you could make the argument that the origin system is just as interesting, if not more, in some ways. But for whatever reason, the Hex have this dread fascination with everything about Duviri. So I was like, there has to be, I don't know if it's going to be right away, but there has to be a payoff to them wanting to be there so bad. Why could I hear the air screaming? I don't know. Heart split in two. Yeah, there's some. I'm going to be going into a little bit of that here in the future regarding the explanation of a great many things, because I think now that we have some more definitive information in the kinematic, because I understand there are things in the kinematic where I don't think that you can take them for being completely legitimate within the whole story. One of them is the children's, if your character killed their parents, or if other people killed their parents, you can pick different things. I think it's even the same way with the sibling comment, that you might have a sibling or you might not, based upon how you answer certain things within, the kinematic. But one of the things there's certain other pieces of information in there that it's only a singular piece of data. There's no kind of, well, the Drifter might say this, or the Drifter might say this, or the Drifter might say this. It's more so the Drifter might say 3 different things, or even 2 different things, but it's the same thing that they're saying, just worded differently to fit the context of the conversation. No, I'm in the origin system. It's just you can see the void, it's kind of, it's always right there, checking us out. What? Where was she? What the fuck was that? Is that new? I don't remember laughing from the man in the wall. In the ramp, I missed her, but she still laughed. She was in the front on the codex, really. Fuck, I missed her. But she laughed. Shouldn't she have said, "Hey, kiddo"? Well, it wasn't a man. It was my operator in the wall. Code, I've tried. A lot of people have tried. We have some information. We have some words down. We have some words that seem to be a particular way due to context clues. I did miss it, apparently. Yeah, but I've never seen it on the orbiter before. I understand that when I get into this mission here, Chimera prologue. The man on the wall is going to laugh the whole time. Or the female on the wall, whatever you want to call her. But I don't remember that beginning. Again, remember the last time I did Chimera prologue was, who knows? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I think you might be onto something. It really sounded a little bit like Rusalka, right? Really? See, no, I haven't heard that yet. Not in the Orbor. It's interesting that you can't get out of Umbra here. Wonder why.
Hey, kiddo.
Where the hell is she? There she is. Oh, can I shoot her? Nope. 2018. There you go. It's been a minute. There's your pose, too, by the way, that's on the man on the wall. You know how everybody, we were talking about earlier on that glyph you guys were talking about? There's your pose again. Oh, yeah, I still think there's a possibility that that's the case. I don't want to say a probability at all. I definitely don't want to say that, but I definitely think, yes, it's mockery, I think. I believe. You know how we've got Araxia coming? If anybody follows my Twitter, I put this out here recently, so you know what I'm talking about. So we have Araxia coming, the spider frame, right? And it's going to be in Duviri. And we had like this whole thing that we've been talking about potentially Rel being either the Drifter or even having some kind of connection to Garmy in Duviri. And I put out on Twitter, does anybody remember where, I know Raze saw this for certain, where Rel says during the Chains of Harrow, was it excited, all the spider eggs are beginning to hatch. Something else, I can't remember what the other emotion was, but it says, Mama has a stretchy smile. And then the last one was sad. Why do the babies try to kill the mother? And it makes me wonder if this whole spider frame thing, especially with the potentiality of having any relation to Garmy and whatnot, or Enrel by extension, has something to do with that line. Because when I hear that line in the quest, it's one of the few lines that to me doesn't make any sense. And we do hear Rel in Halvania too. You could make the argument too that this is a lot like the lines that were during the Hex quest. You know, like there was the black line, and then there was like the void line that we like kind of pulled out of people and stuff like that. What are you doing? Well, bear in mind, there's something else to consider, too. Keep in mind that there's a very good chance that the adult male figure on during the Duviri paradox that you see is not our father. And the reason why I say that is because every single one of us has a picture which looks to be our parents holding us as a child, right? But our dad's bald. Whereas the guy that's in the Duviri paradox has a full head of hair. And I think you could even make the argument that the mom, even though they don't show the mother's face for some weird reason, is a different person as well. Hack, that's a good question there. Coat, are we fighting void shadows right here? Yes. And stabbing us in the spider eggs of the embracer ephemera. Yeah, the spiky ones. One can symbolize torture, which is what the Drifter received. The long-haired guy. Who's the long-haired guy? I went the wrong way. Oh, I lost my man on the wall. Oh, here we go. Israel the dad. Oh, type why we fight void shadows. This is supposed to be, this whole thing right here is meant to try to begin to pit the Tenno against the Lotus. That's the whole idea of this. This is a manipulation tactic. It has to happen. It has to be this way. Why? Because if whoever's doing this, the man on the wall, Ballas, whatever, whoever's doing this, if they don't begin to turn the operator's view of the Lotus into a negative thing, then the operator will never accept the paracesis, which is necessary for quite a few things, but the things that occur during the New War. This quest in particular shows that. The spider mommy. I don't remember all of those, sir. What if that Drifter was real? That's a thought. That is a thought. Ooh, is it smiling? Oh, crap. It's so hard to see. Should have brought a sniper. No, she's not smiling there. Yeah, we gotta go forward. This is one of the areas that the Orokin 7 would have essentially decreed their judgments on a person. See, they're all lotuses. Do you see that? So the idea is that's why the man on the wall is wearing the helmet too. It's all, this is all like kind of a mockery, and it's meant to manipulate the operator essentially into starting to question the motives of the Lotus. I still don't know what's open. You know who they move like? Do you remember during the Chains of Harrow, the like Luminous type figures that were, or I should, not the Luminous, but the shadows of the Red Veil that were trying to attack Paladino and Rook? This is probably the longest playthrough of the Chimera prologue in history. Remember, we go down the same path that we were meant to go. And remember, there was a very, very emotionally traumatizing aspect for the Tenno the last time, because this is where they lost the Lotus. So this area is ripe with emotion. Now, here's the chute that I was telling you about. I want to say that it's a physical chute, but it could be a portal, too. So
I am not who you think I am.
But of course you are. Imprisoned, just as she was.
notice what the man on the wall is doing in the back, too. It's like making it look like a pity party, crying, making fun of us. What's the goal of this stream? Mostly just to get me forward on this second character so I can get closer and closer to being able to play this character for the for upcoming quests and have a female operator as well. But along the way, just kind of giving information on what I know and speculating little things. I'd say that's if it was the goal or wasn't the goal, it's usually how things end up headed to. Oh, Zerg, that's what I'm saying. You get to see how much the newer quest stuff is baked into the old stuff. The thing is, when it happened back in the day, we didn't have the context to understand what we were seeing. Now we do. Like this guy or girl. See, she's just a trickster. Look at her feet. I never noticed this area is like all like shimmery. Was that like that the last time? There you go. And we have to have it too. Oh, wait, I wonder. You know what's cool? They actually modeled the man on the wall's eyes for this. Hey, look, there's the like those gravity eyes, or I should say nebula eyes, as I like to call them, that look like space. Pretty cool. They didn't have to do that. Question, are sentients sentient? Like the sentient soldiers have thoughts, or they just act like robots? It does appear that the sentients have their own feelings and desires. However, they do function in a highly structured kind of reality or existence where everything, it seems like everything within the sentience hierarchy is based upon like whatever class of sentient they are. And I imagine that was done in the beginning as a way to, you know, have the necessary tools for whatever they were supposed to do. Because the sentients were essentially meant to terraform, you know, Tau and whatnot. So I imagine each group of the sentients were created as a product of a function that they would need to accomplish. So like I said, here we are, and if you're looking at it from the context of the operator, right? Think of it this way. They would have taken this entire trip and looked at it as a method by which, especially now, because, so they get to the moon, they're in the exact same place that they were for the Apostasy prologue. So it's just like a normal person, you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I can get some information on what happened the last time because I'm here again. Turns out, we're taking the exact same path through. So as a Tenno, normal person, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is really similar to what just happened. Maybe I am going to get information, right? You keep going, and you get, and the Man on the Wall leads us into the Lotus's area, specifically with a portal that looks identical to the one that we lost her to. So by just any bit of a normal person's curiosity, anything else, it was guaranteed to lead the Tenno here, where the Tenno needed to go. Because like I said, without this, the new war doesn't happen. No, like I said, I think that they are all sentient. I just think that they're highly structured. Think of, I could be wrong on this because there's not any definitive data on individual sentience, right? But I would look at them kind of like a highly structurized military. That essentially every single class of what thing they do, that's what they do. They don't bullshit. They don't sit around and do any, like, you know, hanging out and chilling. If, you know, Oculus are there, they're there for one reason, and they execute what they're supposed to do to a T. We've seen that portal a couple different places, actually. But here, I don't know if we're actually in Tragrassa or if this is just another sentient ship. It's tough to say. See, now this is all a ruse too. We know this now.
Hello? No hope.
Acid, remember that there's the Lotus's voice is necessary for the oil worm as well.
only suffering under her eye. But she gave me the gift of life. Why would I betray her? Fool. This is no gift. She stole my death. My perfect death.
Okay, so bear in mind.
Such is her power over me. Over the devil.
Ballas does not want to die.
We saw... Who's that?
Oh, move, man.
Nothing. So, we saw what we wanted, those devils and I.
Ballas has never, ever wanted to die.
A mother.
So his perfect death
But now,
is bullshit.
I know. She is neither. She's a hawk calling with Sparrow's song. A viper blending into wood.
I mean, I could try
And
it.
her venom. What is this?
Ballas knows we're here the whole time anyway, by the way.
And her venom spreads not into flesh, but into your heart. Those devils, what has their great awakening accomplished with the destruction of potential allies? Don't they see?
Love must die.
Love must die, as Margulis did when I sent her to the Jade Light.
It's a really good question, Gabriel.
And the Lotus. Just some cloud in the sky. Just some shape they imagined. Only the sentient is real.
See, he's even...
Natar.
If what we understand is
So,
true about him putting
tell me,
together the
devil,
Lotus,
Do you understand
he's even
what
taking
must
that
be
and putting
done?
it on somebody else.
The Paracesis. The sentient slayer. Hurry. Take this. The idea of it. It is the only way your war can end.
Right? There you go. Sounds a lot different from before, doesn't it? Oh, look at that piece is way up there. Oh, like the void doesn't like her hair. It kept her bald for some reason. Whoa. Whoa. Looks like I'm gonna be ducat farming, huh? How much is that gonna cost me? All right, there should be a man in the wall sighting here at some point. Feeling better, kiddo? Did you know? Is that how you remember it? Good. Hold on, let's head out just real quick. $1,000 ducats and 5. Oh my God, 1,000. I need those, man. Oh, you mean you think I sound like Dr. E? I'll take that. I will absolutely take that. Maybe I should try to do an Entradi, like an impression for one of the videos. It'd be kind of. You guys, do you think I could pull off the voice? Isa is Umbra's child. Unfortunately, we did a bad thing. We did a bad thing. We did a bad thing. I'm gonna have to pick up these two now.
These can make you an even stronger hunter.
Oh man, I have a world of grinding to do. All right, come on, buddy. Damn it.
On fire, thanks to the good work of people like the Tenno. That's a
Hey, thanks.
From Nora to you.
Hey, Nora, thank
Wherever
you.
are.
Appreciate you. Why don't you give me a little extra on Nightwave? You know, a couple extra bits of
It's that
cred, if
time
you would,
again.
right? Just take
You
some,
know
you
it.
just give your boy a little extra. I want it. The Paracesis is a good weapon. Yeah, I know you don't need it anymore for the quest. If I'm not mistaken, though, you used to have to craft it, right, to go forward. Isn't that right? I can't wait to see what this looks like. Let me do one thing though first. It's very important. Gotta make sure her gear is mostly white. You'll see why in a second. Take care, Hack. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Have a good day at work. Well, Diego, in my case, I make all my Warframes either white or black. There are a few people in chat you can ask them about it. They don't like that either. They don't like my monochromatic madness. Ah. Easy target, you sentience. Zerg, I'll agree with you. He never shows up with me anymore. I don't know if I pissed him off or I'm on to him. He might know it. So he's like, dude, I'm not going to go there anymore. I don't want to give him any more information. That's what I believe, at least. Look how many Tenno there are. Look how many operators there are. Oh yeah, there's Excalibur Prime there. Yep. They're all Prime frames. There's Varzia.
Let her go.
Yeah, I have a Stalker cosplay with my Umbra too on my main account as well, Diego. I got that too. So good. And he can walk around by himself.
If my eyes could weep, I'd be blind.
That sounds right there, sir.
What they've made of you. You're a god. You're a queen. But somehow the bees have
See
you
why I
as a
use the
hostage.
white gear now?
Do you even recognize me anymore?
Hollow
I
children.
recognize the enemy.
Black-eyed.
No. Sister, it's me. Era. The Makers caught you. Unraveled your mind. They're using you to kill us. The Queen of the Aphids, with her eye in the void. But I don't blame you. I blame them.
Bees.
You believe these are your children, but I am the only family you've got left. So choose our family, our people, or these parasites. Choose, Natar. Choose.
Look at the red light coming out of her mask too. That's not something you ever
I
see.
am not Nata. I am the Lotus.
So, like, did the man on the wall just have control of our body? Is that what just happened there? So currently, the person who supposedly controls Era is the demonic ram, Azul, which is weird in its own right because they literally call him a demonic ram. That's not something that you see in any other sentient. There's no demons. Aaron, you have to buy the perfectly ordinary chair. If you buy the perfectly ordinary chair and put it in your back room, it's a lure, and Wally will be there.
Reformation
Very often, mind
is
you.
accelerating.
He's been there a couple times for me.
Our conduits are nearly ready. Our rebirth is at hand.
And the Golden Spear? How many battalions?
Yeah,
Still
that's
having
true. You
access.
need that Dex Excalibur.
Listen to me. That's the past.
Don't care. You know what I mean?
War. Tell her, Maker.
Sorry.
Yes.
I find that funny still. Listen to this part. Why does he say that the Oracle created the Tenno? Listen to this.
The Oracle are gone. The bios are divided, infighting over what remains. Only the Tenno.
The Tenno. The enemy.
Yes.
Made by you. To kill us.
Yes.
Now, he could be saying that they were made to kill us, not made by us. That's possible.
You're stained by their wickedness.
I don't know how Pazul
Use
exists.
it. Use their sin against them.
They're listening.
Let them.
They know we are building.
I apologize for the sound.
No, it won't.
So what are you waiting for? Sing for us, sister. Call them home.
Code, I don't know why. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why they call him a demonic ram. I mean, I all the other ones are just like beings, you know, like the owl and the wolf and snake, right? But for some reason,
You have new quests in your
Pazul
codex.
is called a demonic ram. The other ones aren't called demonic. Let's try one more time here to leave and come back. That's my only thing when it comes down to, I don't understand why they make that designation with Pazul. And what makes me even more concerned about it is that during the Lotus Eater's quest, the Lotus makes real the idea of angels and demons in the game. Like, she literally comes out and says those exact words, meaning that they do have, there are angels and demons in Warframe. Now, is she just referring to void angels and Tennos? A Tenno is considered demons? I don't know. But what we can absolutely say is that the concept of angels and demons, the creation of life, as she goes on to say after the fact, is a real thing in Warframe. Oh, I hate you.
We're out of the night.
Come on, man. Come on, Wally dear. See here, see here. I want you in my ship.
Thanks to the good work of people like the Tenno. That's a thank you. From Nora to you.
Oh, hey, thanks again,
Wherever
Nora.
you
That's
are.
pretty nice of you, actually. The prelude to war. And then here is where, for whatever reason, the mask begins to break. Now, why? That's what I don't get. So the last two quests, we are meant to essentially, Chimera and Era are meant to make us question the Lotus.
We're ready, Natal.
And then there's
So
this.
quiet. So dark.
It only needs a voice, a spark.
But Mother,
Mother's
Because
gone.
it made a deal. That's an interesting concept.
This is all that remains. But you have her fire. And more. You can finish what she started.
finish the war.
Bring peace. Bring purity.
Ballas is Umbra's eye too, huh?
On Lua, the Lotus.
No, Gabriel.
I attacked you.
It's literally called, even in the wiki, a demonic ram.
Remember.
Again, with the quantifying name,
You
word,
died.
demonic, in front.
You don't remember everything then.
Chat.
Yes, your aphids wounded me.
Maybe
and
I'm
our
off on this.
forces were depleting fast. I knew I had
When was
failed.
Orphix Venom? Was it
Failed
before
you,
this
my sister.
or after this?
Failed our family. I had no choice but to retreat.
No. You were destroyed. The Tenno made sure of that.
You're still recovering. With all that the Makers did to you, it will take time to heal.
He is one of them, isn't he?
Okay, so what,
A
Orphix Venom was
maker.
right after the Maker then? No. Orphix Venom was before the New War. Because Orphix Venom is where we found out that the Lotus was actually, there was a problem. Because she had that little code that she put out during the thing where it said, I am dying. Based upon her coordinates that she was giving out, like Y2 2.5 or whatever it was, and you know, like through that, that's how we first realized that, oh wait, the Lotus actually is in trouble, and there's more to the story. Well, Coat, that's a really good question. How did Era survive the Tenno Void attacks? A very, very good question indeed. So we're right up against the new war, huh? Well, everybody, I can tell you that unfortunately, I don't. Well, I mean, do we know that that cutscene's a false memory? That's the thing. Well, yeah, that's because we originally got the reason why Father's involved in it was because in order for us to deal with the heart of Deimos, so essentially there was that part, if you guys remember, where the heart was getting screwed up, was attacked.
Why is he here?
And we couldn't have a connection to our Warframe any longer. So Father provided us with our necromech in order to be able to fight back without having a need for a Warframe, right? So during the Orphix Venom thing, the idea was this, based upon what happened with the Ropa Low list, okay? The Ropa Low list was meant to essentially gauge the Tenno's weaknesses and be able to formulate a method by which they could combat it. What they ended up finding was, for Orphix Venom, they were able to essentially stop keep the Tenno and the Warframe from actually being utilized together through some kind of dampening device, which required us to again have the need for our necromechs, which is why Father jumped back into the story. Well, Zerg, unless the only thing you have to consider is that one of the things we have not figured out yet is we know for a fact that the Lotus has seen the man on the wall, has spoken to the man on the wall in some degree. We don't know where she comes into play. We know that the man on the wall knows about her a whole bunch. And then we have the Lotus Eaters where it seems almost like the Lotus is kind of giving in to the man on the wall's influence. So whereas I'm not saying 100%, I think it's a lot easier to potentially believe that Era cinematic was just a false memory. But I can't say for certain that it is, because it could also show how the man on the wall has been in control for a lot longer. And I keep going back to this, that like, it's funny that the person that we're fighting against in the new war is Ballas. But it seems in many ways like the man on the wall allowed all this to come into play in the first place. And dare I say, given what we know about the after effects, the aftermath of the new war, in the fact that what it did, based upon the information that you can get in the Codex Anatomica, down at the bottom of the sanctum, what it did was the thing that Ballas did brought the man on the wall to our reality, like in it, within it for real. It was the thing, what Ballas did got its attention and brought it here. So it's very possible that rather than being just getting its attention, that the man on the wall kind of knew what Ballas was attempting to do and was thus helping to facilitate it because of what it would allow him to do as well. Now, you can then go one step further and say, well, were they in league in any way? I don't know, but you cannot dismiss the fact that without the man on the wall specifically leading the Tenno to Ballas, as well as some of these other instances here where they're showing the Tenno these thoughts about the Lotus being bad, or having kind of a negative connotation, something controlling her. These are all the things that we're shown in order to even allow the Tenno to want to grab the paracesis, because the idea is after the sacrifice, think about it, after the sacrifice, when we first get to the very end of it, our operator has absolutely no interest whatsoever in trying to combat the Lotus. I mean, he literally says, or she says, what did they do to you? And the tenant and the operator's goal was always to save the Lotus. But then we get the events of the Chimera prologue, and then we get the events of Era, and you start to, and I think if you were part of the community and you were engaging with the community during this time in game, you would know that there was a healthy amount, and I mean a very healthy amount, of Warframe players that were dead set on putting the Lotus down. I mean, they were like, she needs to go. She gots to go. So that manipulation, it absolutely worked. And if nothing else, you could then, even if you said, oh no, I was always on the Lotus side. Well, with the story itself doesn't say that, because if that were the case, the Tenno would have said to Ballas, no, keep your sword, dude. I'm not killing her. Kind of in the same way that the Drifter does with Rusalka later, making the choice to say, no, I'm not doing this. You do it yourself. I don't remember a hand-leading Vord of the Warframes. I don't remember that, Harry Capybara. Well, Zerg, this is kind of what I was talking about, is I do think that there is, because we know that Ballas had a very significant hand in creating the persona that is the Lotus. We know this. There's literally images showing it, aside from the information. You have to wonder if some portion of Margulis wasn't just, the thought and concept or theory, but was literally injected in. Like I said, however they take the mentality, the persona of a person and transfer it during continuity, Ballas would have an absolute understanding of that because he himself does it. So perhaps he was able to trap her essence in Kuva or something like that, some other form that we've never been shown yet in game, and then add that into the stuff that became the Lotus, or like I said, is it possible that given how the Orc can understand the effects of the void with human emotions and human interactions, that, I could see Ballas being the guy who was like, okay, yeah, I know that this is supposed to be dangerous for most people, but I'm me, so I'm just going to make my own version of the Lotus. And perhaps that was, again, utilized in the creation of, or I should say, I'm going to make my own Margulis, and perhaps that was utilized in the creation of the Lotus, thus giving her all of the background, the additional stuff that Margulis would have felt and known about the kids. Oh, yeah. I will definitely put that out there, too. I'm going to put it out. Aston, do you follow my Twitter? If you don't, do you have a Twitter account? Because I'll put it out on there, and I'll show it. And that way it'll be easy. I'll put everything out. I'm going to put everything out. A couple different photos so you can check it out. Yeah, Aaron, I think you're onto something there too. That everybody has to remember too that these kids are under extreme stresses, and the fact that they're even able to behave in normal ways and keep themselves composed, you know, is a product of them being warriors, absolutely. But still, they're not unsusceptible to, you know, the things that the human beings are. Even the most stoic person, it doesn't matter. Like, emotions can get to you. And I think to me, it seems like that's what people are using emotions to force the Tenno around by putting little carrots in front of them, saying, "Hey, you do this. If you do this, there you go. Like, you should want to do this. Here, feel this for a second." And then the operator does, or the drifter does, and then they're forced to make a decision that they don't quite understand all the ramifications of, but because they've been forced into this emotional aspect of it, they begin to feel. And you know, whereas feeling and everything is the most powerful thing I think human beings have, it can also be used to manipulate people to horrible degrees, right? So I think that's what we're kind of seeing in real time here. What we just don't know is the man on the wall's intentions. Like that's the problem. Okay, I will do that. I'll do it as a community post. That's actually perfect. That actually is better than Twitter. So don't worry about Twitter. I'm not even going to put it out on that. That's what we're up against. When you don't know the man on the wall's intentions and all you have is his actions and only little bits of it, you never can figure out what the true danger is because you don't even know where it's coming from. You know, like, who's initiating? Who benefits? Just like with anything else, like, who's benefiting from all of this stuff that's happening with Halvania, with what's about to happen with Owlweaver? Who benefits? Well, I apologize, but that snake it's literally on every one of my different streams. You can see this snake somewhere. But with that being said, everybody, I think we got some pretty good stuff done here today. And it's going to set up real nicely for the next stream because we can do the new war and we can dig into that one, right? I wonder if Lotus is a Warframe too. Wow, wouldn't that be some crazy shit in the end, huh? And I know D's cooking something. We're about to get a little bit better, little bit more information very soon. I hope we get a lot more information in Owlweaver. I would really like to. Where's Entradi? Does anybody know where Entradi is? Meliodas, that's good. That's a really good question. Like, what is going on with the Lotus in Lotus Eaters? She seems, at best, distracted. At worst, not herself at all. Oh, Aaron, I believe it too. I think the man in the wall, I believe, has everything to do with the Drifter getting out of Duviri. We just haven't figured out the why yet. I mean, it's said, aside from, you know, ending Ballas's thing, that the man on the wall helped bring to fruition. Aston, that sounds good. I don't know. We're going to probably end up having to put our talk off until at least tomorrow because it's getting late here. So I'm going to have to be hitting the old bed. But I will put out my setup, though. I'm going to show my thing on a post, and then I'll probably hit it. But on Discord, we can probably talk tomorrow. Is Entradi the one who told the Hex about his time there? Well, yes. He also knows. He also gave it to all of us in his lost notes. Yes, we definitely know Wally wants the Orokin gone. The man on the wall does not care for the Orokin at all. Okay, there you go. That's perfect. That'll work out good. So, what I would say is, if you are not quite where you need to be for Owlweaver, now is the time, everybody. You got 10 days until it hits. 10 days, and then it's going to be great. I can't wait myself. I cannot wait. It's going to be wonderful. Ha! But with that being said, I just want to thank you all for joining me here today for the stream. I hope you enjoyed yourself as we got to talking a little bit more about the origins of Warframe. Kind of got things going in the right direction, giving a little bit extra context for Owlweaver in 10 days. Keep your eye on the channel for a couple different things. We're definitely going to be streaming Owlweaver the day it comes out, without question. That's a guarantee. Probably before then, I would absolutely, definitely before then, we'll have the new war done. So maybe we can get a little bit of that, like, we'll get this story, like, leading right up into it. At least one day this week, I will be doing Expedition 33 to kind of get through some additional aspects of that. So, Aston, I'll put in my, I do believe, that's my Discord handle. I used to have my actual one, like the D-Siege, but unfortunately it was tied to an email for a job that I had a while ago that the email doesn't exist any longer. So I don't know how to recover my account, so I had to make a second one. But so, sorry, I'm just reading some comments here. Keep your eyes out, though. Like I said, this week we'll be doing some stuff. I got a video coming out this week, and I also have, like I said, we're going to start getting into the more. This next video that's coming out is the first one of the, what I would call, lore series. So I hope you enjoy. It's all stuff Duviri. Figured I'd give a little primer before we go into Owlweaver. And I'll be moving forward from there. So, like I said, I hope you appreciated it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you loved being here for all of it. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week if somehow I don't talk to you. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.